Mackenzie,
Lamar.
Pitts.
Pitts.
We have a guest today. So we're covering Major League, and we're going to get into how well we think this movie has or hasn't aged. But I think the one undisputable thing that is the key thing that has just had staying power from this film is the walk-on music. I feel like the whole Wild Thing, Rick Vaughn coming out to that wasn't necessarily a huge thing back in 1989. And then you slowly saw it get adopted by MLB teams, probably the most notable, Mariano Rivera of the Yankees using Enter Sandman. And now it seems like even batters are getting walk-up music. They pick their own songs. So I'm curious for you two, what would be your walk-up music? Whether you're a relief pitcher or a batter, would be your intro song?
I think we got to start with our guest. Tell us your walk-up.
Yeah. Happy to go first. So my walk-up song, and actually has been in my softball years, Regulators. Ooh. So Warren G and Nate Dogg, right? Not just any geek off the street, Lamar.
Getting the crowd pumped.
Yeah, handy with that steel and leather and wood.
I love it. I love it. Lamar, what's yours?
No, I asked the question. You got to go first.
God dang it. I hate this. Okay.
And you only get one choice.
No, I'm not. I refuse. I don't know what to tell you. Okay. But the main reason I refuse actually is I was racking my brain on this and I didn't like anything that I came up with. And then I remembered that time, Lamar, that I made us pick things for each other. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's so much more fun. So I texted my friends and asked them what my walk-up song would be. And I got a barrage of really fascinating answers. So I'm going to blow through them. Woman, Kesha. Anybody heard that one?
Yeah.
Kesha $, as she corrected herself. A Little Wicked. Boom by POD. Y'all, I haven't listened to POD in a minute. That was a fun one. Players, Coi Leray. Literally had never heard that song until today. Mm-hmm. It kind of fits though. Like I listened to it and I was like, all right. Crazy Bitch by Buck Cherry, which I was like, that's not appropriate.
Which friend said
that? I will not confirm or deny who said that. And then I got TNT by AC/DC.
That's a good one.
But my personal favorite was Bitty Bitty Bomb Bomb, Selena.
Yeah, especially if you're playing for like a Texas team, that you gotta have a little bit of that. Yeah.
I was like, all right, that was a good one. So I'm going to go with that one, but I had to share the hilarity with you guys.
That's nice. That's nice. I'm surprised neither of you took what I think is the most obvious pick. If I'm walking up, I'm coming out to the Star Spangled Banner because then everyone has to stand up every time. 3 minutes standing ovation. It's brilliant. Every time I come up to bat, just saying.
I would personally sit down just because it's you.
You're going to disrespect the flag?
I'm going to disrespect you, sir.
You mentioned, right, since this movie was released, walk-up songs weren't really a thing, and that's kind of evolved. I wonder if, maybe players can start having songs, depending on like the outcome of their at bat. So, like, if I strike out, then you play
like a reaction song
by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Like if I strike out.
Or like I'll be missing you as in the ball,
Yeah. This could get harsh, y'all. Like, this could really change the game. I like this idea. Awesome. All right, kids. Well, thanks for playing. Let's roll. Welcome back to We Drink and We Watch Things. I'm Mackenzie.
I'm Lamar.
Say hey, I'm John.
Hey. If you hadn't already heard in our cold open, we have a guest. John. John is joining us.
Welcome.
Thank you for coming. We appreciate you.
Super excited.
Hopping on.
Yeah, super excited to be here. Big fan of the pod. Huge fan of this movie. Really excited to talk through Major League.
Yeah.
Did you see this, John, when it came out? Are you a down since day one, 1989?
I would have been 6. So this was definitely more of like a VHS.
So did you have cool parents is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Or uncaring parents.
They were cool enough to park a TV in my room at a really early age.
There you go.
And,
wow. That's fancy.
Drop in some VHSs for me. So this was one of them.
Heck yeah. I love that. Okay, well, if y'all missed the memo, we've been doing baseball movies all month. our month of Let's Play Ball. So we are continuing with Major League, and we let John pick this one. We were like, hey, do you want to join for this? Do you want to join for something else? I think that already says a lot that you really like this movie. I think that's a good lead-in.
Can I give you just like a super quick background on myself and my baseball history?
We would love your life story, actually, if you want to take it away. So
I'm going to start. I'm going to start in 2002. But I was actually a hot dog vendor at the ballpark in Arlington, where the Texas Rangers play, for 2 seasons. Yeah, so across I got to see probably about 150, 155 baseball games in person those 2 years. It's an awesome experience getting to, throw hot dogs down the aisle to kids and adults, and you'd be surprised. Made okay money, at least if the Yankees or Red Sox were in town. We made pretty good money.
I was going to say, is that where you cut your teeth in sales, at the ballpark, slinging dogs?
I think so. I think so.
Well, you got to do the whole pitch. You got to get your hot dogs here. Did you do the whole thing? Let's hear it. Yeah.
Yeah, mine was it was just very direct. It was hot dog. That's it. Hot dog.
You're like forcing it, like challenger sale. Yeah.
Oh my God.
You want this.
4 people listening to the pod today. If y'all didn't know, we all have worked together in sales and sales adjacent. Yeah. So here it goes. Challenger sale.
Yeah, we didn't run much discovery. We didn't run much discovery before.
Discovery.
Yeah, what do you want out of this hot dog? When will you be eating
What do you want out of your game snacks? Is it high carb, low calorie? What are we looking for? Oh my God. That's a gem. Okay. Well, we do need something to get us through this game, speaking of. So what are we drinking today, Lomar?
How much time do we have for the recipe today?
I think we have 15 minutes slotted aside for this recipe. So
I think the thing is we've had a 2-week break. So Skylar, aka Craft World, got some time to noodle on this, and he went above and beyond. So I'll walk you guys through this. You're going to need 1.5 ounces of gin, specifically if you have it Wild Bark, because of the name, which you'll eventually find out. Half an ounce of Saint Germain, half an ounce of agave, and a bit of Underberg bitters. He swears you can find them somewhere near the counter. I had never heard of these. But you're also going to need 5 or 6 basil leaves. You muddle those with some fresh orange juice and a half ounce each of lemon and lime. Then you add everything else, fill that shaker with ice, shake, strain, and then you're also going to top it with bubbles like Prosecco and garnish with did anybody do the skewered raspberry? I did not have raspberries fresh on hand.
I did.
Can we see yours? I'm curious how this turned out.
Well, to his credit, he went and got it for me this morning to make it pretty.
Oh, what a guy. We do have similar color. Mine's a little darker, but...
Well, I just realized as you read this, because again, this recipe is 12 years long, that I missed an entire ingredient. So we're going to see how mine turns out. Anyway.
Yeah.
What did you miss?
The agave, which I knew we didn't have, and I was going to replace with simple. So, but I forgot to replace it with simple because whatever. Anyway, so... Let's hope that I'm really into the bitters today, you guys.
Yeah, I ended up subbing. I thought I had a Prosecco bottle, like a mini one in the fridge. I ended up subbing that pink grapefruit fever tree, and it's actually really good. It's going really well with everything that Skylar made. So, but to get to the point of what I said earlier,
I was going to say, we're not done. There's more to do here.
Yeah. This is called The Wild Thing for obvious reasons for Mr. Rick Vaughn here in this film.
Okay. Cheers.
That was a mouthful, and this is going to be a mouthful. Cheers.
Okay. Did you talk through the muddling? The muddling thing was a whole thing.
Yeah, muddling the basil leaves, and then you get the juice in there, the citrus.
I feel like I did a good job at that, actually, but then that distracted me from the agave step, I believe. So, wow, that is actually, for me, without the simple, quite tart, actually. I was expecting it to be pretty bitter, but no. Because I actually also spilled the Underberg bitters, you guys. Not the thing you want to spill in the shaker. And I definitely spilled it a little bit. So actually, it's interesting. How's everybody else's? Do we like it? Do we love it?
Yeah, real good.
What were your mods, John? You said you had to riff a little as well.
Yeah, I just used honey instead of agave, and then added fresh squeezed orange to it. Really, this is all out of necessity.
Yeah.
More so than, it sounded good.
Well, we also got you the recipe kind of late, so thanks for playing along. I appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, was able to go out to the backyard and clip some basil. My darling, darling lady
You
wife has the
fancy.
greenest of thumbs. And so,
Wow.
yeah,
I don't. Skylar does. We have basil too, but I did nothing to achieve that. Yeah, nothing at all. Okay. Are we ready? Let's do this.
Yeah.
Let's talk Major League. All right, we're going to do some basics. And then don't worry, kids, we're going to have a spoiler warning. And then we're going to get into it. So, Major League, 1989, the year of my birth. So, it's a little bit old, is all you need to know. 7.2 out of 10 on IMDb. 83% from critics on Rotten Tomatoes, 84% from audiences. It's still breaking my brain, the Rotten Tomatoes situation. I don't want to talk about it. We're going to move on. But the writer-director of this is Mr. David S. Ward. Can anybody name anything he's done? There's some good ones.
I mean, I cheated. He won an Oscar for The Sting, right?
The Sting.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Sting. Yes. He did a few other things, but we got to call out The Sting. He also did Sleepless in Seattle, which I think is a very different vibe and hilarious that he did. And then King Ralph, which I actually haven't seen. Has anybody seen King Ralph?
Oh, maybe one time back when it was released. That's the John Goodman movie, right?
Yep. Yeah.
The only other one I recognized was Down Periscope, because that was another like childhood comedy of mine. So yeah, he did that one too.
Yeah. Okay. So that's who we got. And then we got a ginormous cast that we're gonna try to kind of blow through because there's so many of them, or we'll spend the entire time talking about that. You thought the recipe was long, this cast is long. So Tom Berenger plays Jake Taylor. He's done a few things like Platoon, The Big Chill, a few other things. Most recently in Inception.
I forgot he was in it, and then like I read it and went, "Oh yeah, not a huge part, but he's in there."
Not a huge part, but he's there, and I sort of forgot that until I was reading through this, so that's fun. And then we have Mr. Charlie Sheen, our hero, Rick Vaughn. And my personal favorite of his is The Three Musketeers. Anybody? Three Musketeers?
Yeah,
the 90s one?
The 90s one, yeah, quality film.
So
Kiefer
good.
Sutherland and like Oliver Platt.
Like all of their hair in that and their vibes, and it's so funny. It's one of my faves. It's like, to me, it's the only Three Musketeers movie, if you ask me.
And Sheen was in, like you said, Platoon with Berenger only like 2 years before this.
I remember
also like
him
Wall
from-
Street.
I think because we're watching a comedy, I'm gravitating to all like my childhood comedies. So I go straight to the Hot Shots series,
Yes.
part 1 and part 2, quality motion pictures.
I feel like this is what started that for Sheen.
For sure.
Yeah.
Like they kind of learned he could play comedy, especially if he was playing somebody really dull-witted.
He's really good at looking
True.
dumb. Yeah.
Well, you see him in this, and the first thing that pops into my mind is I was like, oh, look, he's making his reappearance from Ferris Bueller.
Right.
Remember in the
he was in that
police station? Yeah. He's giving the exact same vibes. Don't worry, I did go down a rabbit hole. He is not the same character, but like it's the exact same vibes, I think.
Yeah, is this movie in the Ferris Bueller universe?
It's apparently not. I wanted it to be. I really wanted it to be. I went down a Reddit rabbit hole, Lamar. You'd be so proud. I was like, you guys, let's make this happen. And I was brutally rebuffed. So I think, unfortunately, no. But it was definitely the energy I was getting from him in this.
It's funny
one.
we're talking about this because I was just in Chicago this week and I went to the Art Institute and visited the painting that they focus on in Ferris Bueller.
In a row?
I did not. I was solo, and grabbing strangers is frowned upon these days, so I didn't. But
damn.
And then the only other thing I wanted to mention about Charlie Sheen is apparently he was a really good baseball player. He had an 85 mile per hour fastball, which is not quite major league, but that's still pretty damn impressive if you ever played ball.
Let's just be clear. He was roiding it up.
Everyone was.
Happen.
It was the 90s.
So, well, and he said it like in an interview after this. He was like, "Let's be honest. I did used to play baseball, but my fastball was never that fast. His top speed recorded on the set was 88, actually. So
wow,
pretty damn impressive.
Yeah.
He looks like a ball player. You know, it's clear that he did have some experience, unlike one of these other cast members who you were going to name, who they could not actually even film
throw a baseball.
Throw a baseball at all. Yeah.
Right.
Well, continuing. Sorry, we could talk about Charlie Sheen all day. Corbin Burnson, rather. Sorry, Roger Dorn, And the first thing that came to my mind, Lamar, you'll probably get this, is Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah, he's a decent
Immediately.
villain in that. He doesn't get a lot of screen time, but he crushes it. Yeah.
He does. He does. And I mean, he's been in a ton of stuff, but I was like, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. That's all you need to know,
Yep.
really. Margaret Whitten plays Rachel Phelps. She's the owner, the evil owner. And she's been in mostly stuff I haven't seen, to be honest, but The Man Without a Face is what she's most well known for. Anybody seen her stuff?
Yeah,
She,
that
like-
was the
Go ahead,
first
John.
movie Mel Gibson.
That's
directed.
right. I did know that. I did know that.
I
Yeah,
looked
yeah.
at her IMDb and I kind of felt bad because she didn't really do much after this. She only acted for another 5 years. I know she did the sequel, obviously, and she passed, unfortunately, in like 2016 or so. But she's a great villain in this. I'm surprised
Yeah,
she
she's
didn't
really good at
act
it.
more. Yeah.
She's really effective.
I think she was maybe too convincing. It was like a Joffrey Baratheon situation, perhaps. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah, it could be like pigeonholed as the villain forever. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny because, like, I don't know if you guys knew this or read this already, but there was an alternate ending where she wasn't actually a villain, and it didn't test well with audiences, so they kept it as her being the villain, and so she was supposed to be like secretly motivating them, basically, and
Interesting.
it didn't work. So
What a
then she
twist.
was the villain. Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting twist. We got James Gammon, who plays Lou Brown of Silverado fame. I'm never going to not
so good.
mention Silverado. Yeah.
You can't have a movie like this if you don't nail the coach role, and he is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
he
It's
is
so
a
good.
he's
So good.
a big part of why this ensemble works.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like a team manager, let's be honest. Renee Russo. And this is like before she's, super famous.
Right.
And she plays Lynn Wells, and she's obviously known for a bunch of things, but Thomas Crown Affair is one that always comes to mind for me. She's excellent in that. But she had actually recently changed careers from being a model. This was one of her first acting gigs, if not her first acting gig. And they had to pin her arms down literally in certain scenes because she wanted to move her arms like the walk, like the model walk. And they had to hold her arms down. And she was like, I'm just grateful that they gave me this shot and they didn't fire me. And I, was able to move into this
Is
industry.
the implication that models just always walk model style anywhere they go?
I guess she was
Okay.
flailing her arms. I don't know when she was. If you have to
just
pin your
always
arms down, I
flamboyant.
feel like
Okay.
it's pretty bad, and then we also, Mr. Wesley Snipes, made famous by
go.
this, really. Willie Mays Hayes. What a great name, by the way.
Willie
Yes.
Mays
Oh.
Hayes.
So good. And I also Blade. I don't know. Need we say more? Really?
Drop
but-
Zone. I'd like to throw Drop Zone in there. Skydiving action movie.
Passenger
terrible
57.
fun. Yeah, Passenger 57. He loves airplanes.
Oh yeah, he just loves stunts. Apparently,
There's an airplane in this too that we're going to talk about. Yeah.
That's true.
His-
Okay.
His character name, do you know what Hayes is in a reference to? Where he says, hit like Mays, run like Hayes? Reference to Bob Hayes, Olympic gold medalist from 1964, and then played wide receiver for the Cowboys. So was widely known back in those days as the fastest man who'd ever lived.
Interesting. Didn't know that.
Nice. Oh, well, fun fact about him. In this movie, they actually shot his running scenes in slow-mo because he is actually so slow. He wasn't presenting as fast at all. So they slowed his run scenes down because he was not selling the fastest man in the world thing at all. So
Yeah, apparently he's not terribly athletic.
yeah.
Surprising.
Yeah.
It is.
It is,
surprising.
especially when you think about how the physicality of his other roles, including Blade, and you're like, how are you so bad at this? Apparently, he's pretty bad at this. He also showed up to the audition in bowling shoes, and you were supposed to play. The thing was, it was literally a practice, and they were supposed to see you play on the baseball field. And he was in a leather jacket and jeans or something and bowling shoes, and he had to run. And they were like, "What the fuck are you doing?"
That's the
So
most
apparently,
Wesley
it didn't get
Snipes
better.
thing of all time. But yeah, this is one that, John, you were talking about. He couldn't throw a baseball, so that tacks with what you're saying, Mackenzie. But not to jump too far ahead, but there's two really cool shots in this, and I think they're him, because I don't think CGI was a thing in '89, but the really cool slow-mo catch at the wall in, I think, the final game, and then that last
He did do that.
slide.
That's a real one.
The final play of the game on
Yeah.
that slide. It looks cool, so I hope it's actually Wesley Snipes doing it.
It is real. That's one of the ones that's real. Yeah, he did do that.
He did apparently get really good at hitting pop-ups.
Yes, they were saying, they were like, he is weirdly good at hitting a foul ball.
What every baseball player dreams of doing. Yeah.
You gotta take it where you can get it, you know? Got some gems here. All right, we have Charles Cyphers, who plays Charlie Donovan. Of Halloween fame, I feel like, Lamar, that's the one you're going to point out. No?
Who is Charlie Donovan? He's like the assistant to the owner or GM?
Yeah,
You're
like
the
the GM.
Halloween expert.
Okay.
Like,
oh yeah, he's the dad or like the cop. I think he's both. He's the cop dad in Halloween. Yes.
the cop dad.
The cop dad. Everyone deserves a good scare. I think that's him. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. I trust you.
Yeah.
We also have Chelsea Ross, who plays Eddie Harris, Trouble with the Curve. Apparently he has been typecasted. No big deal. Dennis Haysbert, Pedro Cerrano, love it. 24, and also Flamin' Hot, which if you haven't seen, you need to see. It's so good. It's so good. I think it's on Hulu, so watch it. Have either of you seen it? You haven't seen it? Nobody?
24? No.
Clearly, I'm the only Mexican here. It's fine. Okay, last one. Bob Euchre plays Harry Doyle. And
R.I.P.
my favorite part about R.I.P. is that he was obviously a professional baseball player for quite some time, played for the Braves, played for the Cardinals, the Phillies, and he was ultimately a commentator for the Brewers. But they didn't know that when they cast him, which I thought was hilarious. They cast him for this commentator role, and they didn't realize like he'd literally been doing that.
He is so funny in this movie. Like he's definitely a part of the connective tissue, like along with Lou Brown, that makes this 100% work.
Yeah.
And similarly, like to the manager thing, it gives the baseball team, baseball game energy. Like that's why it feels authentic, because you need that in the game. You need that when you're watching and getting that commentating. It's a key part of the experience.
I don't know if it was like the first movie to do this, but I think this movie ties in a lot to what would eventually be The Replacements, like 10 years later, that football movie. And I think that borrows heavily from a lot of the tropes here. But when you have a comedy sports film and you can incorporate the broadcaster, it's such a great opportunity to just punch up the script with great one-liners that he's delivering.
And he's ad-libbing them, if y'all didn't know. They literally, he ad-libbed almost the entire script. Like they gave him a rough script. When they found out, obviously, that he had already done this before, they were like, hey, go wild. Because he does some great stuff, like as you can see. And he ad-libs most of it. He keeps like the framework and then he makes up the rest of it.
Just a bit outside.
Yeah. Ball 4. Ball 8. How are they laying off of pitches this good?
We could just rattle these off for the whole episode.
It's so good. He's so great. Okay, let's get into the good stuff. I'm gonna give you a really quick plot summary and then a spoiler warning, guys. So the new owner of the Cleveland Indians put together a purposely horrible team so they'll lose and she can move the team. But when the plot is uncovered, they start winning just to spite her. What a fun summary. I feel like it's a good groundwork. All right, kids, turn around, don't drown. It's spoiler time.
We've had a lot of movies where it's a ragtag team of misfits that have to find a way to win. I think this might be the first where the team is intentionally made bad with the intention of like losing and then ended up winning. I do think that Ted Lasso eventually borrows a little bit of this, at least in the first season, of the owner is intentionally trying to make the team fail. But I don't remember anything before this doing that.
I'm glad you called that out because it was one of the first things I noticed. I mean, I've obviously seen both, but not recently together, I guess. But the first thing I thought was like, is she based on, or is Rebecca based on her in Ted Lasso? Because it's very similar energy early on, like wealthy, beautifully dressed, like glamorous woman who is literally just here for spite, essentially, and coming out of a divorce or what have you. It felt very, very similar. So yeah, I definitely think Ted Lasso borrowed from this a little bit.
There's definitely some real life examples of owners who have, threatened to relocate teams, and they typically do it for leverage, right? To get a stadium built. But apparently this one was inspired by an owner from the Minnesota Twins, I think from like back from the 70s, who was specifically threatening to move them to Miami, but they would eventually
Wait, so he would rather live in Miami than Minnesota? What?
Shocking.
Believe it.
That's groundbreaking information. I love her. Speaking of though, I love her little like box that she's created with her freaking tropical trees and cocktails and things. She's like, I'm manifesting. I am manifesting Miami
living her
for
best
myself.
life. Yeah.
She's a really good villain.
Can we, before we jump more into the actual plot of this, can we just knock out all the stuff that maybe hasn't aged as well from this? Can we just get all the, like, I feel like you have to do that with anything from the 80s and 90s, even the aughts at this point, of let's just knock this out. So, number one, I think we have to start with Indians baseball. No longer
Cleveland
a thing.
Indians, you guys. Although their name isn't much better now. Let's just be really honest, okay? The Cleveland Guardians is a weird fucking choice. I'm sorry.
It is, it is a weird choice. That, to me, was the most shocking thing about the movie. Not necessarily the name, but specifically the logo, the Chief Wahoo logo. That logo, I cannot believe that was okay. I mean, it's like applying Speedy Gonzalez treatment to, a Native American caricature. And it's all over.
And the crowd behavior too. Like, that's the other thing, like the costumes, the sound effects. I'm not going to do them,
like
but
war cry, whatever.
Right. The war cries, quote unquote, the teepee in the middle of the stadium. Like, it's bad. It's bad. And it's kind of crazy that this isn't that old. Like, this is my lifetime old. And we thought this was acceptable. Yeah. It has not aged well. Aged well.
The next one, this is one where I need an expert to chime in here because I'm just a white dude taking my best guess. I don't know whether this is accurate portrayal of voodoo or not. I'm leaning toward probably not, but let me know if I'm wrong out there, folks.
It's not. All of it is not. Some of it is like rooted in some facts, but no, it's not. And also, like, his accent, his, like, some of the stuff that he says is really bad, and it's not good.
Yeah, I think they really tried to, of course, in Major League Baseball, since the 70s, Latin players have been a huge part of the game, and I feel like they kind of were like, hey, we need to have a Latin player here, so let's just combine everything we can into this one
guy.
Character. Right. If you want,
he's going to be the amalgamation of this trope.
Accurate portrayal of voodoo, I would point you to the documentary Weekend at Bernie's 2.
Oh, I have seen that motion picture. I thought it was a documentary, but that confirms it. So yeah, I'm going to go back and rewatch it this weekend.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Do your homework. Okay. Jeez.
Yeah. I do like, though, some of the voodoo is played, the quote unquote voodoo is played for laughs, but I like that it's more of a springboard to getting to the jokes about Christianity in the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, so you're telling me Jesus Christ couldn't hit a curveball or whatever it is? Like, yeah. So eventually we get there. And then I think the only other one that I had, and you guys can add to this, but the sexual harassment in both directions of the female boss in the clubhouse smacking the players on the asses, and then they turn around and do the cardboard cutout of stripping clothes off. I'm just like, oh, neither of these are great, but
so bad, like, so problematic. How'd you get this photo? How did you create this cardboard cutout? This is terrible motivation. Also, she's coming through and, like, aggressively touching the men. I do like that they don't like it. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I will say is, like, their reactions are reasonable, but the thing itself is really bad. It was gross. That was really gross.
So that's what I got. Do you guys have anything else you want to add to the list before we get into, like, the actual plot?
I think those are the majority, to be honest. At least for me, that's what stood out. The one thing I will say to your point is that, again, like, I think the reaction to the sexual harassment is reasonable. So at least you can be like, well, she's a villain. It's bad. I mean, that's good. And then also I do agree with you that it's, like, kind of an equal opportunity roast on, like, the Christianity piece and the voodoo piece. But I also like that it actually informs, like, some acceptance. There are some, like, acceptance conversations happening here about, like, hey, don't worry about, like, who cares if he does his voodoo? Like, who cares? Like, nobody's judging you for trying to pray, right? Like, so that was at least good. I'll give it some credit.
I don't want to, and with that same exact thought in mind, Mackenzie, I do not want to give this movie a trophy or a gold medal of any kind, but I do want to point out, for a R-rated comedy from 1989, there is no hate speech, there is no homophobia. To my knowledge, I don't remember anything in this rewatch of, like, hey, they stayed away from that, which was, just like the lowest bar that everyone was using at that time. So good for them in that capacity.
I will say one more thing that I forgot. The stalking of the woman.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's
they
so
followed her home like 2 different times, right?
yeah.
wildly
Yeah.
unacceptable. Like, and it is pitched as a legitimate way to like win her back. And that whole dynamic with them, him showing up at her work and like
Yep.
creating this scene, him being like, don't hold me accountable for things that were years ago. You mean, bitch, hold you accountable for the thing that you did? Like, I'm not at your door bothering you, you're here bothering me. Just like, leave me alone. And he won't, and then he stalks her aggressively, and they just treat that as a reasonable approach to
And then
courtship.
they have her
Like,
fall for it of like, yeah,
and then they have
she's
her
been into
fall
it the
for
whole,
it,
she was
and he
just
wins
playing
her
hard to
over.
get, which again is an 80s 90s thing that's horrible. It does give us that great line though where he's like, she bet me $50 that she had a hotter body than you and I had to defend your honor. I think that line is the one good thing to come out of that situation.
It's the worst defense I've ever heard. This is how we know
Yes.
you're a
Had
dude
to
and
defend
I'm
your
a
honor.
woman, because I'm like, that is some bullshit. I do, but she takes the bait. She's like, I obviously have a better body than him.
Yeah. Well, that is meant to be a dumb line. I don't think he's actually
know.
like, we're supposed to think, oh, that's
No, we're
acceptable.
not
Yeah.
on his team at all. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, I don't like that whole dynamic at all. And it legitimizes some behavior that
Like,
should not be legitimized on the big screen,
So,
like,
John-
anywhere at all.
John, I'm curious from your point of view because I found myself almost sympathizing with her current boyfriend. How did you feel like while you were watching this play out?
That was especially like really awkward when he shows up. Yeah, to her, I guess it's fiance, right? A
Yeah.
fiance's little party where, of course, they're playing Vivaldi, in the background to make sure that we know how affluent.
It's classy.
How classy they are. And the aggressive amount of art on the wall, you guys. Like,
I know.
woo.
Yeah, it made for a couple funny lines at that party, but
Yeah.
I mean, it's gosh, it's ridiculous to say this, but like movies from this era, this is just not nearly a top offender.
No, it's
you know,
not. That's
obviously
true.
that
That's
doesn't
true.
make it great or make it right, but good Lord, it's no Meatballs. Or-
No,
Oh my God.
no. Yeah, but he's
No,
like he's
it's-
calling him out, and we're supposed to empathize with the Tom Berenger character, and this guy's kind of shaming him in front of all his friends at this party. But it's like, dude's been stalking your fiance. She gave him a fake number. He followed her home from work. I would probably be a dick to him too.
Yeah. I mean, you literally showed up in seemingly his penthouse, whatever, his apartment, and you invaded our dinner party. I've done nothing to you. I'm just dating this woman independent of you. Like, maybe I'm kind of a schmuck, not anybody's favorite, but like, I didn't do anything in this scenario.
So anybody who takes the elevator to the 6th floor in that building, it just opens right up to his
See,
to his penthouse apartment.
That's not how this works. That's the other thing. I used to work in this industry where you would have this habit. Like, you have to have a key. Like, you not
Right.
and like, yes, we're fancy now and we have a key card, but there used to be physical keys that you would put to get to a private penthouse or a private apartment if the elevator opens directly.
I'm just
Like,
gonna
that's just
imagine there
wild.
was a deleted scene where he murders the guard at the front and steals his key, because at this point, that's the one thing we don't see him do to stalk this woman.
Yeah,
You're like,
it was
how did
probably a
this
facial
happen?
recognition thing he had
Yeah.
to get past, and he probably cut the guy's
Yes.
face off, wore it. It's too bad they
It's very
deleted
Mission
all that.
Impossible. All of a sudden, we've walked into a Mission Impossible movie. How did that happen?
To answer your question, Lamar, I would not have invited him in and offered him a drink.
I know. I would have been like, "You can go."
I'm
Like,
calling the
having-
police. Yeah, I would
Yeah.
call the police.
Bye. Yeah. Yeah. No, it doesn't play as well as you think. I do like that you get him being like, his response to like, how much do you make or whatever? Don't you guys make a bunch of money? And he's like, I make the league minimum. Like,
Yeah.
he just says, I like that he just owns it and makes no bones about it. And like, that part I didn't like, that they collectively were like trying to ask these really personal, aggressive questions. And he was just like, I make the league
But
minimum.
didn't they
and
say,
I'm just happy
John,
to
did
play
you read
ball.
the thing about like the actual salary at that point? Wasn't it actually a
Yeah.
decent amount of money, even the minimum?
Oh yeah, the
It-
league
it
minimum's
wasn't
always been
nearly as-
decent.
Yeah, I mean, now this is in 1989 dollars. Then it was 68K. Today,
Yeah.
$3.6 billion with
$760,000.
inflation.
It's how much now?
$760,000.
Mm,
He's doing okay for himself. So can we like go back? I'm sorry that I jumped us so far ahead in discussing all these like
No, that's okay.
troubling
We knocked
things.
all the yes. Let's just knock the crap out. I like it. It was,
Yeah.
it's
But I
fine.
want to jump back to the very beginning of the movie and just sort of the setup here. We get the introduction. I love that line of "This guy's dead. We'll cross him off the list." Then of when they're trying to recruit all these shitty players, and then that obligatory introducing the misfits scene in the park. Again, the Replacements rips this hard of just look at
Rips
this
it
guy. We're
hard,
gonna have
yeah.
all the scouts talk about each of these unique characters, and we get this an incredible opening scene. I feel like.
Let me comment really quick before we zoom too far past it. But the opening song and the visuals that accompany it. So it's obviously a Randy Newman song, and the song is called "Burn On," and it is
I'm
literally
so glad
about
you brought this up.
the Cuyahoga River catching fire, which used to happen all the time in like the 60s due to pollution.
Yeah.
And so, of course, they
What an
showed some
opener,
visuals.
right? What an opener.
They showed some visuals in that opening ride of like to make sure you understand the industry, in that city where they kind of like pan up from a, rec softball field and, to a refinery or whatever was behind it.
So when he wrote "You've Got a Friend in Me," was that about the Great Depression or something? What the fuck?
Yeah, you wrote some dark shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and it's just like some of the lines, if you listen to the lines, it's knowing what it's about is so ironic because it's like talking about it being the city of light and of magic. And you're like,
no.
you mean of pollution-based fire, Randy Newman? Like, what are you talking about? And also, like, when you think City of Lights, come on, we're thinking Paris. We are not thinking Cleveland. Like, what are you talking about? Oh, what a choice. What an opener. All right. I also like that one of her big complaints about the team and about it being based in Cleveland is that we don't draw a dick. Like, that's one of her number one complaints. We don't try. And I was just like, wow. I'll give her credit. Like, she's being very honest. She's very straightforward about it. But damn, like that made like the top 3. I think it was in the top 3 of her reasons why she wants to move to Miami.
Yeah, I do like that the methodology, as I said before, of we're just gonna not draw a dime. We have to keep our attendance, and I think that ties into what you said before, John. There was kind of an agreement of if your attendance is under this amount, that gives you the ability to move. So it is steeped a little bit in history. What do you guys think when we start getting into the early days of this team and seeing how they all interact? Those early interactions, I love Rick Vaughn in the cutoff shirt with a tie at the fancy dinner they go to, but anything else in those early interactions that stands out to you?
Yeah, that's a good one where he says, "I feel like I look like a banker."
I know. Bitch, no you don't. No you don't. No, I like that they play the prank on him. It feels very much like summer camp.
Yeah.
They like move Willie Mae Hayes, like they move him out to the field before practice, and he's so panicked. Of course, we get again the first slow-mo run of his, but in his pajamas, and it's such a great shot. Like, thank God they slow-moed it, and I guess these other guys run really slow so that he can pass them and win and whatever. But it's such a funny scene, and they're immediately like, all right, he's on the team. And yes, you're right, like Replacements and some others have totally stolen from this vibe and this energy.
Yeah, that the whole initial, like them first getting to spring training, and then we first get that like initial on the field action, and especially when Willie Mays Hayes goes up to bat, like there's just so much good stuff in there. But I love it when the manager tells him, "You may run like Hayes, but you hit like shit."
Yeah, like anytime you hit one in the air, 20 push-ups. I like that running gag for the first half hour. Yeah.
I just like to like his whole presentation as the manager is like so classic. He's just here screaming at all of them, like there's not much coaching happening, right? There's not much eating happening. It's just, I'm going to motivate you through fear and aggression and talking shit. And it felt so fitting too, and so appropriate for this team of misfits to just get roasted on the field the whole first 30 minutes.
I like where they establish Eddie Harris, as the older pitcher who's got to use all kinds of tricks, KY jelly and Vaseline and Vagisil and jalapenos to get his nose running, so he can get a little bit more action on the ball. And that starts to pay like little dividends later in the movie with things that Euchre says
Mm-hmm.
when he's calling the plays. But that was a really cool angle, and that was something that back in the day, like players really used to do.
Yeah.
Which is they can't do that anymore. They get checked now when they walk off the mound. But that was a cool angle.
I like that though. That like feeds into all the baseball like superstition stuff, which
Yeah.
I still love about baseball. You know, there's so many things, and they show people like, you know, circling the mound 3 times or like digging a certain number of times or what have you. And I like that they like show little snippets of everybody's little superstitions. I mean, like we talked about it in Moneyball, right? Like he won't watch the games. You know, like there's always something, or people like wear the same socks the whole like on a winning streak, right? They're not going to change their socks or whatever. And I like that they kind of allude to that throughout.
Yeah. To what John said of that older pitcher, one thing I wrote down like halfway into this was this team only has 2 pitchers. They have like the old guy, and they have we never see another pitcher. We hear people warming up in the bullpen, but like that's their 2 options. And at times it's like, oh, we're gonna keep the starter in until the 3rd out of the 9th inning, and then we're gonna bring in Vaughn. It's very strange.
But I like that side by side, right? Of like, this is the old tenured player who like knows all the tricks and has been through it, as we can tell, right? And his arm is in rough shape, but he still, to John's point, like knows what to do to get the job done, right? At the end of the day. And I think you see inadvertently, like Rick is learning from that. Rick is observing that and picking up things from him. And he's like, he's indirectly his mentor, which is great. But I also like the running gag of like, Rick could be so much better if only he could see. You know, like I just love that you spend so much of the game, him just like, he's got all this power and they're blown away and they're like, the hell, like what is going on? And then it's just, oh, he needs glasses. I love that he needs
pair
glasses
that they give him,
the
like,
first
library
pair, yeah.
looking glasses, yeah. Oh.
And then he's like, I'm gonna get some that are more my style. And then later they have the like skull and crossbones in the middle. I was like, I like these. These are appropriate for you, but I like them. I think they're great.
From a manager standpoint, how are they using Rick Vaughn? Some of these games he's starting. He's coming in relief in some of these games too.
I'm saying, I feel like they didn't cast enough pitchers in this because it's just one or the other at all times. It's like, I guess Vaughn's starting every other day, and then he's also coming in relief on the off days, you know?
That's not good load management.
No, they're both getting Tommy John, even the 60-year-old guy. Right. Like, they're both getting it. I think that there's one thing that this movie... I guess any comedy like this, it's not enough to just have all the comedy moments be on the baseball field and like bloopers and shit talk and whatnot. Like you have to have some good, interesting comedy off the field. And I think the running gag of how hard can this owner make their lives in like the travel and they get this shitty plane that looks like it's going to fall apart. I think those scenes I forgot about those from when I was a kid, and those land actually better than some of the on the field stuff.
I think it's such a good dynamic. Yeah, they're just like sitting on the tarmac reading the paper and, you know, like sitting on their suitcases. And it's interesting to see how they are all like pretty adaptable about it, like pretty chill. Like nobody's throwing a tantrum. I mean, imagine in today's baseball world, if that happened, like how the players would react. I mean, there would be a revolt, you know, like but they just sit there and they're like, they just take it. And I just like that about this team, how down to earth and how much they just kind of just don't give a fuck. They're like, we just want to play baseball, you know?
Their only real prima donna is Dorn.
Yep.
Really
oh my God.
Yeah, we haven't really spoken about him yet. He's a douche throughout.
His contract got peed on though, so like I feel good about it, you know?
Yeah, his dynamic with his wife, that gets a little interesting. I feel like that I don't know what they were trying to do in this, but one of my little complaints on a rewatch is they make his wife look like a different person in every scene. She's like, when she's at home, they make her up one way, then when she's out and about like hitting on Vaughn, I feel like when I was a kid I didn't even pick up that it was the same woman.
Exactly. I had the same experience in earlier watches of this, that they made her look so much different that I didn't even put together that Vaughn had his wife had an affair with Vaughn.
Okay, well, let me translate women to you guys. So, when you're in a relationship, a committed relationship, and you're not doing all the same work all the time, right? Like they've seen you in your pajamas with the face cream and all the things. And so like you look a different way at home when you're married and happily married, right? When you're ready to like go get some and you need to like attract somebody new, that's a different look, right? Like that's the hair is different, the outfit is different, the prep is different. So like you just got this is two different versions of the same woman is all that's happening, right?
So when you come on the podcast, Mackenzie, when you are hosting the podcast, are you in lounge around the house or are you in go get Charlie Sheen mode? I'm curious. Because I'm in my Charlie Sheen era anytime we record. But I'm curious.
I'm definitely not in my go get Charlie Sheen era. Okay, I'm a woman on camera era. So, for example, I've explained this to Lamar. I wear mascara on the podcast, and I don't wear mascara in real life. Like, so I made an effort. You're welcome. You're welcome, Lamar.
Thank you for laying all that out, Mackenzie. That really has. It's really got me thinking, and it frankly has given me some suspicions that maybe I should.
Some concerns.
Why are you wearing mascara?
So the other asterisk is when we go out with our girlfriends. Let me qualify that. We dress up for our girlfriends too. That is a thing. Fair. That is a thing.
I skipped over one thing that I wanted. One of my favorite lines in the movie is when they're on the shitty plane whose propeller's been repaired with duct tape. And Willie says, I need a barf bag. Can you get the stewardess? And Rick's like, I don't think there are stewardesses. And then Willie says, I wonder if there are pilots. That's a great piece of dialogue. That is quality. They're like shaking around. Oh, it's great.
Another line that totally unrelated that I really like that you might be surprised that I liked, but I liked was, how's your wife and my kids? When he's like talking shit to the batter, you know? And I was like, that's smooth. Like I haven't heard that one actually, and I think that's a good one. So good shit. I love the like shit talking at the plate. That's fun.
And that's immediately followed by the like, oh, don't think this one's got the distance as the pop up. I think that's in the top 3 lines of the film. I think.
Oh yeah, but I like throughout all of this, like we were talking about earlier, Bob just being such a legitimate announcer. Like again, speaking to the best lines in the movie, right? Like. His are the best, you know, and just how he's commentating, it makes it feel so legitimate. I'm like, that's the thing I liked about this is they cast the right people to make this feel like I was watching a baseball game.
Yeah.
You know, like nobody's wildly bad. Nobody's like unbelievable. You know, there's a few things here and there, but on the whole, you're like, I feel like I'm watching a baseball game. Like this is a good time, you know?
I love it when the calls here he's making is really just like in direct contrast with what's going on the field. So you've got, you know, Willie Mays Hayes hits like a little dribbler towards second, right? And Euchre says, there's a shot towards the hole, right? And then Hayes is saving. He says, man, give Rudy credit for that one. He's got a family to think about.
Yeah, that's a great one. Is it this one or the sequel? I feel like he has so many great one-liners in the sequel as well, but when he's like, he'll need a rocket up his ass to catch that one.
Yeah.
I feel like, John, you missed your calling as a baseball announcer. Like, what are we...
That would be like my dream job, would be doing like play-by-play or color for sports, or sports radio. I would really like, but apparently, like, radio's not on the up and up. Apparently, so
you just got to start a podcast, man, and hope it goes. Yeah.
I was gonna say, start a podcast. Exactly, that's the move. That's what we did because people weren't listening to us, didn't want to listen to us, and we just made them listen to us.
Yeah. I feel like as we're getting like towards sort of the conclusion in this, like we see them sort of bond, we see the owner continuously trying to fuck over the team. Eventually the crowd gets behind them and whatnot. Does the ending feel at all, especially for those of Mackenzie, have you seen the sequel to this?
No.
Okay.
I did not ever
so
watch the sequel.
Especially for John and
I'm a little bit of a purist sometimes, as you know. So just to clarify.
So you've only seen Godfather 1. You didn't bother with the second one.
Okay, calm the fuck down.
All right. But does the ending feel at all anticlimactic? Because at the end of this, it's just the end of the regular season, right? They're just trying to finish first in the standings, and the whole point, which we've been told the whole movie, is just they want to draw a crowd. It's not even about where they finish. It's just, are they drawing enough people to keep them here? So do the stakes feel a little low based on where we end up?
I don't think so.
No.
I thought,
Okay.
yeah. I would have been, I don't know, like if we take it all the way to the World Series or something like that, I mean, that's a little, I don't know, it's a little like inauthentic for this team. I really like the way that it climaxed, especially with like the way that they won, and that it wasn't on like a home run or, you know, a natural soundtrack, right? It was, you know, a scrappy small ball play, and Jake Taylor having to beat that throw at first. I thought it was like
bunt and steal. Yeah,
it was a nice bookend, I felt like, for the movie.
Yeah.
And like kind of like what they mentioned earlier in the, I think Euchre says it's like they say that you can tell how a season's going to go by the first batter. And then that's when Willie Mays Hayes hit that little dribbler that he beat out at first that we just talked about. Right. So I thought it was pretty thoughtful, honestly.
Yeah, I like that it is a good, to your point, bookend of like, this has been a scrappy team of misfits the whole time, and they're just trying to claw their way back from last, and anything first, second, even third in the standings would be a huge achievement for this team, having done that. You know, where they were earlier in the season to now is such a huge transition for them, and you do see them kind of come together as a team. We see Burnson's character like has come around. Even we've gotten the whole team bought in, like even the diva on the team is bought in, and so I love that energy of like seeing the progression of these players and just coming together as a team and being scrappy. And I like the juxtaposition of the calling your shot, which they talk about, right? And he obviously yucks it up, but then he calls his shot again, right? And then it's a bunt. And so like, I just love that juxtaposition of like, I'm not trying to hit it out of the park. I'm trying to win this game, right? Like, and I'm going to do whatever. I'm going to, you know, like have this flashbang distraction, whatever I need to do on the plate to get that done. Doesn't matter how it looks to you at the end of the day.
Yeah, ballsy move to call your shot a second time after the pitchers just tried to take your head off. I feel like that's underrated in this. And the Dorn thing, at first I couldn't remember because I hadn't seen this in literally 3 decades. And I went, wait, what changed with him? He comes over to the mound and you think he's going to be pissed, but he just says, strike this motherfucker out. And I went, I don't remember that moment being earned. But then obviously after they win, we get the punch in the face. And I'm like, oh, now I remember. He's still pissed off, obviously.
But I love that he holds it. Again, like speaking to the team dynamic of like, we have some more important shit to do than me fight you over this thing. And like, let's get through this. And then I'm going to punch you in the face. And also you still did a good job. Right. Like, I love that.
Yeah. You were talking earlier about the folks, you know, we were sort of comparing the folks that were and weren't talented. And apparently Dennis Haysbert, who's playing Cerrano, was capable of hitting home runs and was doing them on set all the time. And that final shot we see of him hitting this home run was legit, and he was so excited he forgot to drop the bat. So that is all like not meant to be happening. He's just running the bases because he hit this monster home run in front of all these people. I mean, you know, they're there to be in the movie, but it's in front of this massive crowd. That's got to be a good feeling.
I also love that he in particular talked after this film about like just the feeling at the end of winning this game, even in shooting this. Like he was kind of overcome with emotion at the end of this shot. He said like, that's really him reacting of this is like this team dynamic and feeling, you know, this is how it feels to be a part of a win like this and a team like this after you've worked so hard. And he's like getting emotional and like kind of tearing up, and they showed that in the film. And he was like, no, that was for real. Like I just was blown away by how this feels. And somebody, I can't remember who it was, I don't know if it was Bob Euchre or somebody who like maybe a producer who was into like had been a baseball player was like, yeah, imagine that, but 162 games. Like that's how this feels as a baseball player. And he was like really moved by that. So I thought that was very cool. It lends some authenticity to this story.
Yeah. The whole last winning montage with your classic, like kind of 80s upbeat synth music.
Yeah.
Then going into that final game and it being, I mean, at this point, like a ton of comedies from this era, like we have to wrap up this comedy now. So we're kind of done making jokes and we're gonna be like serious. But I think it's effective in this movie. Like it really feels sentimental at the end. The music is like really good. You know, that like light synth twinkling that almost it kind of insinuates like kind of magic, you know, or something like that. Like it's I thought it's really good. It when we did our rewatch, my wife is not somebody who will rewatch a movie. Like the only movie I think she's been willing to watch twice in recent years is Sinners. And she's seen this one a number of times, of course. Yeah. And because, we love Sinners. But aside.
I love Sinners too. I was just having this talk with somebody last night who hated it, by the way. Anyway.
But yeah, she was enraptured by this movie. Like she sat and watched the whole thing with me and was glued to it till the end.
That's a testimonial right there.
Yeah, we spoke in our cold open about that moment of Vaughn walking onto the field, and I just think that always hits no matter what. You've been building up this moniker of his the whole movie. You hear the song referenced, the lyrics and whatnot, and you get that final crowd sing-along, which that is, again, the most enduring thing, I think, from this film. But the director-writer, David S. Ward, apparently a lifelong Cleveland Indians at that time fan, and said this was the only way to see them win. So I wrote this movie where they win. So good for him.
But I like that he did it in an authentic way, right? Of like, hey, we know they're not great, right? Like we're gonna help them get better in this movie. I love that. But I do like that Vaughn has had a real progression as a character, and you're rooting for him at the end. I like that it's kind of pivotal to his position on the team. And I like that he, despite this like tough exterior, right, is actually pretty insecure in his skills and very worried about his capabilities here. And I think it just says a lot about people, right? Like you can posture to try and get through things. And I like that his team is what brings it together to him, right? Like they sort of mentor him and support him, especially Tom Berridge and Jake's character. He's just like, you've got this, like we can do this together. And I love that dynamic at the end that like pumps him up and, you know, gets it done at the end of the day. I think it's a really cool dynamic. Really, like I said, just feels like baseball. Feels authentic, feels like baseball. Mm-hmm. All right, friends. Well, I feel like we did it, right? Any last thoughts? Any comments? Good fun. All right. I thought this was a fun one.
Well, I think it feels like we talked about a lot while talking very little. It doesn't. This movie is it's very good at what it does. I don't think it's a life-changing film or one that's one of the top 5 baseball movies of all time. Not for me personally, but it's really, really good and it's very enjoyable and it does what it does well. So
it held up better than I thought too. I think that's the other thing. I think I was really trepidatious about the rewatch. I was very like, this is one that worries me going in, and we called out the things that don't hold up anymore, but I think like the core of the story and it does hold up really well, actually.
To what we said earlier though about the romance part of the story, which I think is the weakest part now. At least Lynn does hold him accountable to reading Moby Dick. She does call him out and ask him a quiz question of like, wait, are you actually trying to be better for me or not?
But he read the comic version and then she quizzes him and he gets the answers right. And I was like, I'm actually kind of shocked that was included in the comic. Like anyway, the lit nerd in me, as you can tell, was very confused at how he passed said quiz. But yeah, I guess he made the effort. That is the only detractor I will say at the very end. I know they kind of needed in the celebration of like, oh, he gets the girl, like that's the vibes. I didn't care about the girl at that point personally. Sure. I was kind of like, I just care that the team won. I didn't particularly need that, but it was fine.
What do you two think? I would really like to see, like, as you know, Cleveland's drought continues, since 1948. A few years after this, they would make it to the World Series and lose to the Marlins, who had been a team all of like 5 years at that time. Mm-hmm. Of course, they got back a few years ago and got beat by the Cubs, who are on a even longer drought. But I would love to see them in the real world finally win one, man.
Yeah, we spoke about that a couple weeks ago.
They had picked a different name, maybe.
Yeah, maybe now that they've changed to the Guardians, that'll happen. But we talked about that a couple weeks ago, Mackenzie, of, the lovable losers in sports. I feel like it's easier to root for the Red Sox in 2001 or for the Chicago Cubs in the 2010s as opposed to the Yankees, the teams that win all the
Yeah.
time versus these lovable losers. So I think there's probably a good contingent that wants to see them win.
I don't have any emotional ties to Cleveland winning anything, to be honest, but they're doing all right. I think they need a better name, man. I don't think the Guardians is going to do it. I can't believe that won. That still blows my mind to this day.
What are they actually guarding? The river that's on fire?
Right. Like, what are you guarding?
They're named
Petroleum?
after a couple statues, like these mid-century modern statues that are there in Cleveland. They were almost the Spiders, which was a super old like Cleveland baseball team from the 1800s. That would have been a cool name.
Yeah.
That feels
and a cool logo.
Like historically, that feels much more interesting. And yeah, like a logo that like a very different type of logo in baseball altogether, to like have a spider, like that would be a cool vibe.
Yeah. What kind of insect? There's not many insect teams, right? I mean, you got like the Charlotte Hornets, and I think that's about it. Most of them are of course, birds or animals.
Yeah.
Speaking of these,
I feel like you could do like some dark and twisty logos with a spider. You know what I mean? Like that could be cool. Like
there's some interesting similarities with these baseball movies that you all have covered. So with the exception of 61, like each of the baseball movies you've all covered, the scenes don't actually take place in the stadiums that they're supposed to, or the stadiums that they say they are. Right. This one, they do all the Cleveland scenes in Milwaukee Coliseum,
Milwaukee County. Yeah.
And then except for the Yankees, also from 61, pretty much every one of these teams has undergone some sort of move or name change.
Yep. Just wild to think about, really. I mean, I remember watching this, though. It's funny you mentioned the stadium thing, and I was like, this looks like a Little League stadium. Fun fact, you guys, it's now a Little League field. So I was like, the vibes have shifted significantly. But yeah, it was something to do with the NFL and MLB sharing a stadium at the time. So they couldn't shoot there. They just couldn't fit it into shooting. But yeah, they pulled it off. But they definitely, that seems to be the thing with these movies of like, you can't shoot in the real one. Even in 61, like there's a lot of CGI happening there because they're trying to pull off the old Yankee Stadium, So it was interesting. Any other fun baseball facts to leave us with, John? Like, I'm a baseball fan. Lamar's not so much, but like, I feel the ranking here is like you're the baseball expert on the pod. So I feel like you should leave us with any knowledge that you can impart.
Why don't I try? Let me try to sell Lamar a little bit. Lamar, can I tell you why baseball is so special and why this is some reasons why I think baseball is the best sport. It may not convince you that it's the best sport, but it should definitely convince you that it is totally unique amongst other sports. So baseball, it's the only sport where defense has the ball. It's the only sport where you on defense play as a team and you go contribute as an individual on offense. There is also, unlike soccer, basketball, football, hockey, possession is not a thing in baseball because time is not a thing. Every team gets a minimum of 27 outs, which means any lead can be overcome. There's also, in comparison to other sports, awesome. There is like a game within a game, multiple going on at all times. So like between the batter trying to guess what the pitcher's going to throw, the pitcher also needing to worry about, maybe the runner on first base or the runner on second base. Totally. There's no other sport like it.
I feel like that's our reel right there for this week, for the whole month of just here's why baseball is awesome. Well said, John.
It is why baseball is awesome. This is why we needed you to sell Lamar. All right, so when we go to a game, guys, let's go. All right, friends. Well, we did it. Thank you for the pitch, John. I think you sold him. I would love to hear what everybody's ratings are. Lamar, start us off. Give you a minute to think, John.
I remember liking this more as a kid, and I might have also been blurring together the sequel with this one, where unfortunately Wesley Snipes does not come back, scheduling and money disputes. So I think they get Omar Epps in there to fill in for him. But I might be mixing memories up, and I think as a child, like as a 10-year-old or like 8-year-old, I liked the sequel more because it was more hokey and slapsticky. But on rewatch, romance story aside, that's the roughest part of this. I'd still say, yeah, it's like a 7. It's not perfect, but it's really, really enjoyable. And if you replace that romance story with something else, it's probably even better.
I like it. I agree. John, what about you?
Yes, did not need time to think. I have prepared my rating ahead of time. As a listener,
ready?
I know we are going to do ratings. Just like they say in Moneyball, like how can you not be romantic about baseball? And I think that yes. applies to
one of my favorite
this
lines.
movie too. I love this movie. This is one of those for me that like nostalgia just plays a huge role in how I have to rate this. It's hard for me to watch it with an objective eye, in 2025. But it's so much fun. It's still laugh out loud. Excellent ensemble. So I'll give you my rating system and then we'll translate that to your rating system. So I give this 3 thumbs up, 1 thumb 3/4 of the way up, and then 1 thumb sideways. That translates.
I need so much information.
That translates to your rating system as an 8.5.
Woo.
Okay.
We're gonna need a visual. I'm a visual learner.
I need information about this rating system. Like, what are the categories? We have a 3 thumbs up, you said, right? And then a half, and then a side.
Well, see, and this rating has 5 thumbs. Not all ratings will have 5 thumbs. Sometimes we may only have 3. But we always do more than 2.
Okay.
So we're having to, So you got to borrow something.
What are the categories? Are these categories? Like, what's happening with the thumbs?
No. It's just it's just my rating system.
I love that we're never going to understand. That's great. Okay, 8.5. That's incredible. That's a good rating. I'm not insulting your 8.5 when I say I'm like a solid 7. The love story really detracts for me, but mostly how the love story is handled is what really detracts for me. Like I said, I don't think we should promote stalking personally. But the baseball part is so fun. Again, it feels really authentic and nostalgic to me as well. I feel like I'm watching a baseball team, like a team, come together and do the thing. And I'm like really proud of them. So, so I think it's a great time. Awesome. All right. Well, we did it, guys. Thanks for joining, fam. This was a really fun one for us. Thank you, John, for joining us.
Thanks, bud.
And being our biggest baseball fan.
Thank you so much for having me.
I love it.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Had so much fun. Was looking forward to joining this ever since I got to sign up for it, and it has been even more than I imagined. Even more fun.
Oh, I'm so glad to hear it. It has been a slow burn. You finally got on here. I'm so excited to have you. So thanks for coming.
I'm missing my grandmother's 90th birthday to be here, but I'll.
Oh, God.
This is not that.
We rate. Okay, well, we're gonna let you get to Grammy's 90th birthday because that's important.
It's in a different town. I've missed it, but I'll send you this podcast.
What's your grandma's name?
Melba.
Happy birthday, Melba. There you go. She gets a
90th
shout out
birthday,
on the pod.
Melba.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks.
Give her this snippet and she'll be happy. All right. Well, thank you guys for joining. Come back next week for our fan submission on Let's Play Ball. We're going to close it out with Angel in the Outfield. So that'll be a good one.
I am
in the meantime,
so excited for this. But in the meantime, follow us on our socials. We drink and we watch things. Mostly Instagram, TikTok as well. You can get the video of this podcast on YouTube or on Spotify video. Give us a follow, give us a rating, all that good stuff. And then you can always reach us via email. We drink and we watch things pod@gmail.com if you want to send us movie ideas or things we messed up or feedback, whatever you got.
You can't send us things that we messed up, but other than that, that's fine. All right. Y'all have fun. Go have a drink and watch a thing. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.